Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog? What's up? You like that? You really like that? Let's shut up and grind some tape.
Look, I understand. I understand there has become a standard, and I understand that it's never quite good enough. That is what it's become, and that is okay. To a degree, you have earned that right. After 2 national titles, you have earned the right as a fan base to expect a little ass whooping every once in a while. To expect to handle opponents that you are far, far better than on paper. I get that. Okay, I 100% understand that football games like this past Saturday, when you're a 14.5 point favorite on the road against an offense that is one-sided, that hasn't thrown for 100 yards against a Power 5 football opponent in the last 5 times they've played one. Despite the fact that they've won 2 of those 5 games, I know that Saturday's game was supposed to feel like a blowout. Okay, and I understand that. Now, let me try to explain to you how hard of a football game that was to win on Saturday, outside of just the final score and what the first half looked like, or whatever your thoughts are, okay, about that football game. Because what you overcame Saturday and all of the different things that you had to do to win that football game, woo, and a lot of it was self-inflicted, but man, you overcame a lot, right? You had a quarterback making his first career start on the road, right? You turned the ball over twice, allowing scores on both of those possessions. So you essentially spotted the opposition 14 points on the road. Oh, and you gave up 200 yards on the ground for the first time in 5 years. You haven't given up 200 yards on the ground since Jordan Davis wasn't playing for you. Think about that. That's insane. It's been that long since you've played that bad against the run, okay, as you did on Saturday. Oh, and you guys offensively, you only ran the ball for 3.5 yards per carry. Think about that, okay? You gave up over 200, first time in 5 years, and you rushed for less than 4 yards per carry on Saturday. Oh, and by the way, you lost the explosives battle. So you lost the turnover margin, you lost the explosives battle, you couldn't run the football, and the opposition ran the football really well, okay, and they capitalized on your turnover opportunities, and you were on the road. How in the hell did you win that football game? Well, you won that football game because Carson Beck was playing some quarterback, and Brock Bowers was a Heisman candidate football player in the second half, okay? In fact, they won that football game somehow, some way, and listen to this. Carson Beck was 8 of 10 on third down. He was not only 8 of 10 on third down, he was 8 of 10 in the fourth quarter. Okay, so when the game mattered most, he completed 80% of his balls. And sure, having Brock Bowers 100% helps, okay? But you had a quarterback that played virtually flawless, okay, in terms of decision-making on Saturday, okay, and had your offense performing at a relatively high rate. No pre-snap penalties. Think about that. No pre-snap penalties. And by the way, went and watched it today. They weren't babying shit, man. He had hard count fake snaps. He went on 2 multiple times. Okay, and you know how I noticed? Because you could see man's diaphragm going up and down, screaming as loud as he could to give some hard counts. That was an offense that played extremely calm, okay, and overcame a ton of adversity and a ton of odds on the road. Again, something that in the history of Jordan Hare, your football team does not win those football games. You got blitzkrieged on the run. Okay, you lost the turnover battle. You lost the explosive margins. You almost muffed the punt. Okay, you spotted them all kinds of different ways to lose that football game, and you managed to win. Boys, good football teams win that football game, and that's all. The great ones, I should say, win those football games. Good ones do not. Good ones find a way to lose that ball game.
I think we got more answers about Georgia on Saturday than like all the other games combined. I think that was a game where you truly found out what Georgia was about, when you found out what Carson Beck was about. You finally got to see what the offense looks like with Ladd McConkey back, and you dang sure found out just how good Brock Bowers is again. Not that we didn't already know that. So, yeah, big win for Georgia.
Yeah, coming in, I remember Thursday we said that Auburn would have to do a handful of things: win the turnover battle, have explosives, short
Jordan Hare
field.
magic.
Yeah.
And all of that happened with the exclusion of what the hell plays. So, I mean, Auburn pretty much did everything they needed to win that game, and Georgia still came out on top. So, I think
Now-
that's a testament to how
They almost got what the hell plays. The Dejon Edwards fumble was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Luckily, that one got called back for you guys. Brock Bowers' is obvious fumble, or an obvious non-fumble that got called
That-
back. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Really, we explained this in the car, and I think I tried to explain it to you really well. You don't, as a referee, blow the whistle on that play, okay? You assume that it is a fumble, okay? Because if you blow the whistle and you blow the play dead, the play is dead, okay? And then you can't retroactively repair whatever issues you created by blowing the play dead. We let the play out, and then we allow replay to correct us as humans because we're going to have human error. The best thing you can do in that situation as a referee is swallow your whistle. So I think the referee did a good job there. Let the replay handle it. But nonetheless, to overcome all of those things, and I'm glad we're having Murray on tonight because Murray's the rare Georgia football player that's played in Jordan Hare 3 times, okay? Missouri's an add-on into the conference in 2013, so Murray had to go to Jordan Hare 3 times. And I really want that guy, okay, to explain to you the craziness that is that place, because who would know more than the prayer Jordan Hare sufferer, Aaron Murray. But I think it was an incredible win, and I think that can, like I said on the film study, I think that can sound very Disney doggish, where you're like, oh man, congrats on the win when you should have handled business. Guys, they did handle business. They overcame a ton of adversity, and I think when you see your football coach have that sense of joy and relief after that football game, he knows how hard it is to win in that conference. He knows. He knows how tough it is to win in that place. He said it again today. Don't know what it is. Can't for the life of me figure it out. You guys were in the box and it's sealed, so you can't quite tell. But it is loud, but it's not like, oh my God, I can't think. Like, what in the fuck's going on? It's not that loud, but it is crazy, all right? And crazy stuff happens, and it happened again this weekend, and you overcame it. I think you need to start the evaluation this weekend with that right there. Welcome into tonight's show. We got a loaded one for you guys. I think you got a quarterback. That's the most important thing based off today. I'm going to take a look at some of the film notes for you guys. We had Kirby Smart press conference today with a very special guest. We're going to bring you that today. I think Hugh Freeze slipped up and leaked some scheduling announcements moving forward for the SEC. Of course, we do have Mondays with our boy Murray. We're going to give him 3. A little bit later, our 3 observations from our first road trip as a collective show. They let the boys come to the game this weekend, so we're going to give them 3 observations from our trip to Auburn, and we're going to preview a little bit about that Kentucky matchup. I think there are some things to not necessarily be worried about, but be aware of. And of course, we do have film study coming up a lot this week. We didn't have it last week. Couldn't find any all-22 film worth watching on Auburn. All we had was the Cal game. Didn't feel like suffering through that one. So we went into this past weekend a little unprepared. I promise you right now, we will not allow that to happen to you this weekend over on patreon.com/Brooks Austin. This is a rather unique offense from Kentucky to study. I think you guys will recognize some of the concepts that they run, not only from the Los Angeles Rams the rest of my life, just like the Oakland Raiders. The Rams concepts that Liam Cohen and that group run, but also, okay, some of the stuff that you guys have been running as a 12-personnel football team this season and last season and the year before that as well. So super excited to do that with you guys tonight. But first, I want to give a quick shout out to the friends over, I don't even know where I was going with that.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean.
The folks, that's where I was going. Folks and friends, fricks. Stupid. Welcome in. This is the show. Every once in a while, your boy gets a little airspace. They're airheaded and spaces out a little bit. Prize Picks. They are our friends. They support our show. You should support them. Anybody else want to do the read tonight?
All right, I'll do it.
Go for it.
Support the good people over at Prize Picks. They support us, so you should support them as well. Promo code Brooks, 100% deposit match. That means if you put $100 in, you get $100 back. If you're not capitalizing off these college football games every weekend, Monday Night Football tonight, Thursday Night Football, you got Flex Fridays. That's always good, especially if there's college football games going on. And then also you got playoff baseball as well if you're interested in that. And then Taco Tuesdays as well, where they're giving you some sweet deals over there. So be sure you're putting in those Prize Pick locks every week.
Motherfucker spitting. That a boy. All right, we do it every Monday. Film notes, okay? I go through, watch a ton of film. Okay, I do it so you don't have to. That's why I do it. I watch every snap so you don't have to, and all you got to do is come watch the important ones that I show you over there on that board. But we do it every week, so let's do it this week. Number 1, okay, 2 weeks in a row, I've watched teams attack you off tackle. okay? Last week against UAB, it was slipping the H into an arrow screen. This week, it was capturing the edge with H backs and tight ends. With that, we got a concept of the day. Let's take it to the board. My God, you can definitely tell I haven't talked on live television in a couple of days. All right, so talked about UAB last week. UAB last week was taking H backs, okay, quarterback or running back on the right. They were running fake inside zone and then slipping the H into the flat off of that zone action, right? They were riding it heavy, okay, and then running that split zone action and then slipping out into the flat. That was their first touchdown. That was most of their short yardage package, okay? Whenever they felt like they needed 5 or 6 yards, that's exactly what they did. Now, here's what Auburn did this week. Auburn got into 14 personnel, 1 back, 4 tight ends, and I'm talking about big old jokers. They had a big old tight end out here. I think he was wearing 13. He's about 6'5", about 230-ish. Okay, he was big, tall, lanky. Then they had another tight end right here. Then they had an H-back right here and another one kind of hanging out over here as well. All right, quarterback. All right, and then they had a running back. It was super, super congested back here in this side, in this portion of the offense. Now, what they did was they ran this guy on a little runoff, okay, go attack the corner, Dalen Everett, that's sitting right there. Now, these guys are all blocking down. They block down heavy, all down this way. Wash, 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 wash. Then they took the H and they ran what we call a feint block, okay? I'll show you that here in a second. And then they wrapped the secondary H, and then off the run action here, they took the running back, or the quarterback, and added him down the alley. This was the big 61-yard play. This was also the play they came back to on 4th and 2. Now, here was the beautiful part about it, and this is why it was the plan. It was clearly and obviously the plan from Hugh Freeze and his offensive staff. They did all of that with number 1, Peyton Thorne, in the play, or in the game, right? Then in the second half, all right, they brought in Robbie Ashford and ran the same exact concept, except they flipped the running back over here, all right, and they ran him on the jet with Robbie Ashford on a midline option off of it. Okay, so you're going to see football teams give you this again. Now, they attacked you out of, or try to force you into bear fronts. Okay, let's stay on the board. Instead of talking through this, let's just walk through this, okay? They got you into bear fronts, and here's why. I don't know how they did it. I didn't deep dive it quite enough, okay? But when you guys hop into bear fronts, you bring both your jacks out. You play base personnel against 12 and beyond. So if they're in 12 personnel or 13 personnel or 14 personnel, the more tight ends, you're just going to stay in base personnel. So this was Chaz Chambliss, and this was Marvin Jones. Then you had an end in here, another D tackle in here, probably Warren Brinson. All right, and then you jumped into your nose here and another D tackle here. Okay, I can't exactly remember all the bodies, but the point of the play, okay, and the point of the scheme, or what they did, and they would try to get you into these bear fronts, okay, because you got all of your bodies right here, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 football players right here, and I promise you, the safety's hanging out somewhere around here too. So we got 8 guys in the box, and then guess what they did? They ran a bunch of stuff all the way out here, right? So get into some formations to bunch them up and then attack them off edge. That's all. That's not all they did, but that was primarily the game plan on Saturday from Auburn. Now, it was very similar to the game plan you saw from UAB in the sense of we're going to get a bunch of the, I forgot to show a slip action. All that is basically is I'm going to act like I'm going to block you, I'm going to face up, and I'm going to slip you. Y'all see that little action? A little slip. All right, we're going to slip you. Now, that was the first thing I noticed. They are clearly and obviously attacking your edges of play. Now, coming into the season, what did we say? No game changer, no game wrecker at the 3 technique position, right? Nobody shutting the games down, nobody making flash plays on the edge. Y'all haven't really been attacked big gap to big gap. Now, Kentucky might be different this week. They might do something different, but I haven't seen a football team have a bunch of success in between the tackles. No. Everybody running the football right now is what Kirby would call extensions of the run game or gaming the game out to the edge. So that was my first and obvious film study. My second one, this offensive line, all right, they're very talented, but it's official. It has become a problem. They stopped running their damn feet. They stop running their feet, and they let guys go, and they fall. They just don't finish blocks. Now, there is a difference because, like, I think I saw a couple of plays Saturday where we had some misidentifications, and you expect this on the road. We had some blown assignments. Dylan Fairchild thinks he's getting help. He's really actually not getting help. Boom, 3 technique makes a play. That kind of stuff happens, all right? It doesn't happen to good football teams. It doesn't happen to great football teams. It doesn't happen a ton to you guys, which is why I think you're a good to great unit up front. But the problem that's got to be uber frustrating, and I could even see it in Tate's face today, is they know that it's not a byproduct of we don't know where we're supposed to go, or we don't know how to do what we're supposed to do, or we're not good enough to do what we're supposed to. If those are the 3 results of us losing battles as an offensive line, those are all correctable, coachable, fixable, addressable. But just losing guys because we're not blocking to the echo of the whistle, or just because we stop running our feet, or just because our hand placement gets lazy, like those week 5, week 6, week 7, inexcusable, okay? To the point where you should be disappointed, and I saw that's what made me feel comfortable about talking about this tonight, because I saw it in his face today in player availability. Tate Ratledge clearly not happy with his own performance, clearly not happy with the unit's performance. They know, and as long as they know, then we're good, because it'll eventually get better, all right? Because it will, because they're talented enough, they're well coached enough, and that's all that really matters. Are you good enough to do it, and are you taught to do it properly? Those are the 2 things. If the rest of it is, hey, we just got to finish, then they'll be fine. I think they will be fine. By the way, this was a unit this was the last thing we had to worry about last year. And the only guy that's missing, Broderick Jones. And if you watched it on tape, like we did last year, who was the guy we were always talking about? Damn, Broderick's 40 yards downfield. Mm-hmm. It was him every single time. And that stuff is contagious, right? When coaches love it up on 58 in the meeting room, because what is he, 58?
59.
59. Loving up on 59 in the meeting room. Not Austin Blasky for sure. 2 totally different human beings. Loving up on 59 in the meeting room because he's 30 yards downfield. We want to do that. We want to do more of that as a unit. Something that's got to be picked up there for sure. Again, it's not a question. Are you good? Do we have some sickness coming back from Auburn?
Yeah,
I've been battling it for a while, but
started today for me.
Yeah, your opening segment, I wasn't going to say nothing. You sound like you had a frog in your throat.
I do. It's pretty bad.
So it's just me that doesn't sound like shit.
It'll get you. Don't worry.
Like, y'all stay the hell away from me, brother.
We're coming.
Dude, I got baby immune system right now. I probably gave that shit to y'all.
Probably.
If I'm being honest.
Low key.
Anyways, how do you judge your quarterbacks? That was my third film evaluation point. Okay, because here's how I'm kind of moving forward. I don't know why I did that. Here's how I'm doing it moving forward. You ready? Does the offense operate smoothly? All right. Does it move like it's supposed to? Are people confused? Are people getting onto the line of scrimmage late? Are you breaking the huddle slow? Do you have to constantly correct people? Does the operation run smoothly? That is a direct reflection of the quarterback on the field. Do you have the answers? Okay? If a blitz comes, do we know how to get out of it? If pressure gets beat from our left tackle, do we know how to either A, evade it, or B, get the ball out on time to the right person? If they look at one thing pre-snap and they show me another post-snap, do I have a way to find the answer? Do you have the answers? That's what we're evaluating as a quarterback, okay? Do you instill confidence in your teammates? All right, do your other guys around you either play calm in the heat of pressure, or do they do they play better? Do you enhance their performance just based solely off your presence? Are you accurate with the football? After all of this, right, once you make the right decision, once you get everyone in the right place, once the play develops, the answer is in front of you, you've gotten to it. Do you accurately throw the football? Okay? And my last one, can you create outside of the structure of the offense? Okay? If something were to go wrong, can you, an individual, create enough outside of the structure of the offense to win? Okay? So let's just go through those evaluation points. 1, do you have the offense operating smoothly? Carson Beck had 0 pre-snap penalties on the road. That is absurd. Okay? No dumb penalties, no wasted timeouts, no oh crap, no none of that. None of that. Operated smoothly. The answer is yes. Do you have the answers? Okay? How many times Saturday did he get blitzed and immediately know exactly where his hot was? The first touchdown of the football game, Dejon Edwards scans right by the Mike linebacker. Right by him. Lets him run right down the middle of the offense and just smack right in the sternum of Carson Beck. Okay? Sees it. Come right down the pipe. You know what he did? He had the answer. Hit Ra Thomas right in his face. Okay? shows play action boot, gets action or pressure right in his face on a 3rd and 2. Okay, you know what he does? Boom, throws it away, right immediately, hot. As soon as he snapped his head around, no second decisions, no nothing. Immediately ball. He had the answers every single time on Saturday. Do you instill confidence in your teammates? I'll tell you a little story. Okay, now this may just be Cedric, but this may be the identity of the football team because it is the identity of the quarterback. Okay, I told you boys this story leaving the stadium Saturday. I'm walking down the sideline. You guys know I have photography credentials this weekend for the first time all season. I'm walking down the sideline, and I see the offensive line getting coached up by our guy Stacey Searles, right? They get done getting coached up. Miley Cyrus's Party in the USA is playing, okay? Because Auburn, all right? Party in the USA is playing. Everybody knows it. It's a banger. If you think otherwise, I'm sorry. You're just wrong, all right? It was playing and it was banging. Guess who's on the sideline? Just absolutely singing his guts out, just pelting it as if they weren't down almost 10 points in the middle of the 3rd quarter. Cedric Van Pran Granger, because he's just calm, because he's just got a sense of confidence in what they're about to go do. Now, we can do all kind of results-based analysis here. We could say that we think that's calm and composed because they went on to win the football game. Had they lost it, we'd be sitting on here maybe, possibly going, well, it's because they were dicking around on the sideline. No, it's calm. It's calm in the heat of the pressure. It's calm in the heat of the storm, if you will. And again, I think that's a little bit of a microcosm of who your quarterback is. Are you accurate with the football? Guys, Carson Beck's completing 72% of his passes right now, okay? And he completed 80% of them on 3rd down and 80% of them in the 4th quarter on Saturday. He is 100% accurate with the football. The last question I have, okay, and I don't know if we're going to get an answer to it, okay? I really don't, because I don't know if his play style is this. But can you create outside of the structure? That's my next question. Okay, the next time there's slight pressure or the next time there is an immediate void opening up to his right or to his left, can we eat that void, find that grass, and attack downfield? Can we be Joe Burrow? Because that's the next evolution of Carson. Right now, Carson Beck is modern day, okay, this is going to sound hot takey as shit. I know. We got Murray in the back of the studio, okay? And I would love to hear Murray's take on this, okay? He is making decisions and computing, okay, making the right decision, throwing the ball to the right spot like a pocket passing quarterback would. And the premier pocket passer of all time, in my opinion, is Peyton Manning. Now, in order for us to continue to be great in modern football, we have to add that next element of, being able to create, all right? We have to add that Joe Burrow type of effect. Okay, I'm not talking about scrambling. I'm not talking about being a freak with our legs. I'm talking about just being able to extend. Now, we'll get Murray's thoughts on that, but in a second, I want to get Murray's thoughts. But first, I want to get Murray's thoughts on this sounder that we got from Coach Mark Richt today for a good cause as well.
He's going to be fighting for at the event that night. Thank you, honey.
Do my players get any of those?
Yeah, player gets one. Back in my day, if they win, the team that wins, they're one of them. The 5 teammates all get one of those belts, including one of your players. So back in my day, they'd have got thrown in NCAA jail for that.
Very true.
Believe me, they'd have a 2-game suspension for being honest and fessing up to it. So anyway,
Very true.
right, if I had to go back and do that again, it'd be lie and deny. I tell you that. Prove it 2 years after your eligibility's up. Anyway, sorry about that. I didn't mean to digress. So anyway, let's see.
Murray, did you get
Yo.
Did you hear the sound at all?
No, I didn't hear a damn thing.
All right. Well, you didn't get to hear it, but the audience did. All right. So your guy, Coach Mark Richt, was actually cutting up with the media today. He made a joke about actually telling the truth to the NCAA and the repercussions that come with that. What was it? I don't know if you've heard the sound today, but your head coach was out here joking with the media at a presser, man. What was that all about, man?
That's my guy. That's my guy. CMR, baby. I think I heard some of it of you should have just held out on some of the information he gave the NCAA and maybe 2 years after certain individuals had left the program that maybe you then give them all the facts they need. So Yeah, I mean, we had some guys suspended back in the day that could have been used, aka AJ Green, my freshman year, suspended 4 games for selling a damn jersey. That kind of sucked a little bit.
I think the 2-game shout was I think about Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought it was man. I was in the room, bro was killing. I thought honest to God, thought he was doing a stand up for a second. Like he was slaying today. Murray, the reason I brought you on. Oh, hold on. Let's get that cause right quick for Coach Mark Richt. He's doing a bowling event. Okay, in Athens. Okay, you can with the players, all 32 lanes. Okay, you can basically go bowl with a UGA player. Give me the website on this.
It's the Richt Family Foundation, and it's focused on raising awareness for Crohn's and Parkinson's disease.
Crohn's and Parkinson's disease. Obviously, Coach Mark Richt, the news came out about him probably 8 or 9 months ago with the Parkinson's stuff.
Oh, it's been a couple of years.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
Either way, I thought he
years
looked
now.
great today and sounded even better.
Because he's doing all his boxing. That's why he's been doing some boxing. He's working out. He's feeling good right now. He'd kick your little ass.
Hey, that's the first time ever I've been described as little. So thank you. I would probably get my ass kicked by Coach Rick. Dude, I actually have. This is a real deep cut here. I went to the Coach Mark Rick camp back in the day. Okay, and I have a little signed photo of a little 6-year-old, red cheek, rosy faced, chubby ass Brooks Austin standing next to Coach Rick at his little camp. I actually left home with most outstanding player that week.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, I believe it was Tarashinsky. I think he was on the staff at the time, his dad. I think his dad told me, hey, son, if you lose some weight, you might be able to play quarterback. I didn't lose the weight. Murray, all jokes aside, we brought you on because not only are you the rare Georgia quarterback that's had to play Auburn 3 times, okay, but you've been to Jordan-Hare twice, and it didn't quite go so great. So
No.
explain to the people what happened Saturday and just how, not lucky, but just how rare it is to come out of that with a win.
It's difficult. I mean, there's certain environments that I will always remember. Like I will always remember playing at South Carolina. Like that to me was my most enjoyable ass whooping of my life because I was 0-2 playing in that stadium. But it was always great. Like that was such a fun environment with the towels and the sandstorm. Like I was like, damn, this is sweet. This is what college football really feels like. And then I will always remember my freshman year walking. This is obviously Cam Newton's Heisman year, the year they won the national championship.
Yeah.
Getting to Jordan-Hare, and it being not obviously almost full, but like the students were there early.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a buzz in the stadium, and I look at my phone. I'm like, man, it's like 2.5 hours, 3 hours till kickoff, and like you felt like the stadium was going to be full in like the next 20 minutes. Like there's just so much energy in that place. At all times, the fans, it's a damn cult. They love the War Eagles. They love the Tigers, and they will show up no matter, good season, bad season, rain, shine, snow, whatever. Like it is a very passionate fan base, and they bring the juice every single game. So, I was unfortunate when Missouri and A&M got added into the SEC. We had to go play my senior year back at Auburn, so back-to-back seasons there, and that was another really good year there for them. And it is one of the harder places to play. Like when it's a close game, like my junior year, we blew them out. We were a way better football team.
They were a bad football team.
They were a bad football team. And that's always the key. Like if you can go on the road and start off hot, and that was kind of one of my keys for Georgia in this game. Like if you can start off hot and take a lead, you can silence the crowd a little bit. But if they smell blood in the water and it's a close game, they are relentless. I mean, absolutely relentless. So to see Georgia with a quarterback making his first start on the road handle that in the fourth quarter and come out victorious, that's a hell of a win. I mean, even Kirby said it too in his presser at the end of the game. That shit ain't easy, man. Like people think it's easy because Auburn's not like an Alabama this year or an A&M or whatever you want to view them. It's still a good football team. It's a really good defensive football team. I mean, they gave A&M some fits the week before. Yeah. You can say all you want about their offense and some of the issues we had on defense, but from an offensive perspective, when it is loud in that stadium and you are going against a quality defense, it's difficult.
Yeah, I thought the first thing I noticed, and you guys were there, I don't know how much you looked at Auburn. The first thing I noticed was, God dang, Auburn's a big football team. It's not like last year, I always like to look at like offensive and defensive lines. That's all I look at when I'm looking for size, because the rest of it's twitch, athleticism, playmaking ability when the ball's there, all that stuff that I can't really evaluate when you're just walking around. But when it comes to just sheer size and what you look like, okay, Auburn had a bunch of 23-year-olds out there, okay, a bunch of JUCO guys, a bunch of old dudes, and a bunch of really big football players. And not only that, Murray, I thought they had a great plan offensively to try to win this game as one-sided as they could.
No, and they did. I mean, they ran the ball effectively. They kept it close. And that's what you need to do. Like if you're Auburn and any team that's facing Georgia, and it's going to be the same thing for Kentucky this weekend, can you take the air of the game? Can you run the football? Can you limit possessions? Can you turn it into a four-quarter battle to at least give yourself a chance? But I will say this, and I was just on with Ben and Noshawn and TK, and we were kind of talking about this a little bit too. It's a dangerous line to play because if you think you're just going to like knock out Georgia, like get that final punch, I don't think you can. Like you have to be able to get up on them big and big early, which I don't think that's ever going to really happen with Georgia. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm surprised. But if Georgia hangs around, Georgia's going to win the game. It's kind of like, like Alabama when I was in school. Alabama was going to win if it was close in the fourth quarter. I experienced it firsthand. Like you can never feel good having any sort of lead against Bama then, and you can never feel good having any sort of lead against Georgia unless it's like double digits with 6 minutes to go in the game. But if there's time and it's a one possession game, Georgia's going to find a way to win.
And they even got them this time where like the thing that most teams get beat by against Georgia is that third quarter, right? You come out at a half and Georgia just beats your ass at the halftime adjustments. They got the turnover from Oscar Delp and immediately go down and score. And like they had all the
then
different
the fumble,
ways that
then the almost fumble from Edwards that wasn't a fumble, but still kind of like that moment, even though it wasn't a fumble, kind of felt like this could get ugly. It was close to being back-to-back turnovers. You're like, this is what Auburn needed to, once I said, get that big-ass lead where then Georgia kind of gets out of their comfort zone maybe a little bit.
And again, man, I think that's what happens to a lot of these football teams. Like even like you're talking about, the almost fumble, like putting the ball on the ground, even though you got the possession back, it's still an oh shit moment. And you can only handle so many of those as a football team on the road in that environment, like before you just start coughing everything up, right?
Yeah, then you start thinking a lot. Then you're thinking instead of playing. You're out there trying not to make a mistake instead of playing loose. And there was never a moment, and I even say this about Carson too. For me, watching as a fan, there was never a moment that I was watching the game and there was I don't think they can do this. Yeah. There wasn't. There was never a moment of I don't think Carson can get this done. And that's amazing for a guy that's never played on the road before. For me to sit back and maybe it's because I know him so well, but and know his personality and know that he's steady Eddie. He's not going to give you the ebbs and flows as some other players. Like just watching the game, I was like, man, I can feel his confidence coming through the screen that he's going to find a way. And it's just the way his composure is in the pocket, the way in which he was delivering the football. I was like, this kid's got it, man. Like he's going to find a way to win this damn football game.
I think that's what we just talked about, and I know you heard a little bit about of it, but that's quarterback play to me. When you do have all the answers, because defense they're vulnerable somewhere, and your job as a quarterback is to identify that. All right, see what they're doing to me, and figure out how to beat that. And he does that, play in and play out. Now, I want your take on this creative portion of the game, because Murray, you were never going to blow up an NFL combine, but you did create during your career. You were very good with your feet to become like, all right, I'm the 11th guy on the field here. I'm going to correct every other issue. I'm going to make a play now. That's the last portion of this dude's game, and I don't know if it's we haven't had to see it or he doesn't have it. But do you have to have that to be like maximizing the machine, or is it good enough to just be great everywhere else like he is?
Well, he's used his legs to get first downs at times. It's funny, the one play, it reminded me so much of 2013 when we were on the road versus Tennessee. And a lot of people think that my big run versus Tennessee when it was a close game, a lot of people think that was like a quarterback draw. It wasn't. It was actually the same kind of concept to the front side. It was double sticks with a go route. I forgot. I think we probably like slant flat on the backside. I forgot what they ran the other day, but essentially everyone just disappeared. Like I literally was taking my drop and I saw the Mike linebacker fly out, and I was like, let me just take off and run. And then just reaction, I took off, and Carson I think saw the same thing because it wasn't a draw. Yeah. But he doesn't get the wheels like your boy, and he kind of got stuff right there at the line of scrimmage. I was kind of like chuckling to myself.
Oh shit! You're talking about 2nd and 10, middle of the field, like midway through the third quarter.
Yes.
Dude, I definitely thought that was a quarterback draw from Bobo.
I don't think it was because the line wasn't protecting like a quarterback draw. And it was the same kind of concept that I have. It was double sticks to the front side. I forgot what they were running backside, but it was literally like the same thing, but I somehow found a way to sneak through and Carson got stuff. So at least I got the speed on Carson. I don't got the size or the arm strength, but I got the little bit of wiggle on him. But listen, he's athletic enough. I mean, he's shown us over and over again this year that he can pull it down and run. He can get plenty of yards. I mean, what he did at the goal line a few weeks back where he made the guy miss and juke him out, I was like, damn, that's an athlete. Carson is an athlete. Does he want to be? No, he would prefer to sit in there and use his big ass arm and throw the ball down the field. Yeah. But I don't think that he's Tom Brady. He's definitely not Peyton Manning. Like he's not a statue back there. I guarantee you put him in a combine, he's going to run a 4.8. Maybe a 4.75. Like he's in that kind of range, which is plenty good to make plays. Is he? I think this is a good comparison. Is he Shadur Sanders? Because I would say if you line those two up and had them run 40s, they would be very similar. Shadur is creative though. Yeah. Shadur feels it in the pocket. He moves around better. At times he holds the ball a little bit too long, which has gotten him in more trouble than not because he's trying to be too creative. Where I think Carson's mindset, and I've talked to him a lot about this, Carson's mindset is I would rather get the ball into someone's hands who I know is more athletic than me and check it down and let them get the ball and see if they can make someone miss than me trying to run around and create an explosive play down the field.
See, that last part, me trying to run around and create an explosive play down the field, that is the last infinity stone in his football game. And again, if he never has it, he's still going to be a great quarterback. He's going to have an NFL career. But, like, in order to be one of these, like, upright, you know who I'm talking about. In order to be in these
the
Mahomes
Caleb Williams, the Bo
we got to
Nix.
be able to create.
He's not that. I mean, but you have to play to your strengths, too. Like, he's not right. You can't be someone you're not. Like, he's not Caleb Williams. He's not Bo Nix. I don't think Michael Penix is doing a ton of that. Like, those two, and you could say Shadur's a little bit of that as well. Those guys, the kid at Michigan is pretty creative. He's athletic as hell. Like, McCarthy, JJ. But I don't think you need to be that to be an NFL guy. It does put you at a different level though. Like to be a Josh Allen, to be a Mahomes, to be a Joe Burrow, like those guys, that's part of why they are elite as elite. But I would still put Carson's arm and his arm strength and accuracy and his decision making up with anyone else in the country right now. Like that's the only thing that he doesn't have that's as good as the other guys, but everything else is right there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in no arguments with the first four categories of quarterback play for me. The fifth infinity stone, like, are we going to be a top 10 pick one day? That's it. That's the last thing. And again, I like Kirk Cousins going to make $200 million playing in the NFL without the fifth infinity stone. You know what I mean? Like, there are still dudes that can do this for a long, long time.
Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time. He sat his ass in the pocket.
100%. Like you can dial it up from inside the box or inside that pocket. Okay, it's just not. We haven't seen one of them guys lately. Like Tom Brady's the last kind of one, right? The rest of them are all these freaks that do all this creation, in and outside of the pocket. What'd you learn about this football team Saturday, Murray?
Same thing. You can't think that you could play four quarters with Georgia and get the final punch. Like they're gonna knock you out eventually. Like you better knock them out in the third quarter because if it's close in the fourth quarter, they're gonna win. And that to me gives me confidence as a Georgia fan that I don't think they're a team. Like it's hard for me to pick, at least on their schedule right now. Like there's some teams out there in the country that maybe can get a big lead on them, and then I get a little bit worried. But no one on their schedule right now this season is going to be able to create enough separation by the end of the third quarter where I'm heading into the fourth quarter worried.
Yeah.
If anything, it's going to be closer. Georgia's going to be winning, and Georgia's always going to win those games. There's a handful of teams that can get up on them right now. That if you put them on a neutral site, I would be a little bit worried. Texas, I think, is the best team in college football right now. I think Michigan can do it all of a sudden, especially because of the way JJ's been playing this season. Like, I think those two are dominant enough on both sides of the football that they could get a lead and not give it up in the fourth.
Gotcha. This was probably my favorite question on this slate today for you. And I don't know if the answer is offensively. I have a name in my head defensively. Did you ever play with anybody as dominant, as singularly as dominant as Brock Bowers is?
I do want to answer a question from Buston Augusta. I did not. So I went to Plant High School, and this is big time confusion. That's not in Plant City. It's in Tampa. Plant City is like an hour away. Everyone always got confused this. I went to HB Plant High School in South Tampa, like right on the water. No strawberries anywhere near us. That's like an hour away. So
just
to
had
clear
to
up some
address
confusion.
Busta and Augusta right quick.
I did have to address. Excuse me. Dude, AJ, man, AJ was a freak. I mean, AJ could turn a game on a dime, man. Like I remember games when we'd have this play just be like R43 Z pop or L42 Z pop, where if AJ had 10 yards of separation, I would just throw him I'd fake like I'm handing the ball off backside on a lead route or lead play, and then just throw him the ball. And I remember one game, I think it might have been for Vanderbilt, and this one Vanderbilt wasn't like a bad football team. He stiff armed like 3 guys and took it 70 yards. And that's the moment I knew, like, just in the Colorado game, throw it up to him, he'll make a one-handed catch. Like, AJ was such a difference maker. And the same thing, like, we put him in situations where defenses had to declare. Are you going to play too high backside and allow us to have an empty, a light box to run it? Or are you going to go single high and really trust your corner that he's going to win one-on-one with AJ? And then I would give AJ a signal based on, like, leverage, slant, go, out route, quick hitch, whatever it was. And we would just feast on that all season.
Man's out there running hot routes Madden style. Just hitting triangle, square, come back. No, I think that was an easy answer there. You played with Jarvis, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. God.
Was he as dominant defensively as Brock? Like, because I felt like during times of Jarvis's career, there were games where he would completely take over. It was just Jarvis's game.
When he did that, he did it in practice too. Like I remember
Really?
the year that he transferred in, he had to take the year off because of the transfer
State.
rules back then. Yeah. No, USC.
USC, my bad.
Yeah, Southern Cal. Because we were roommates in the All-American game together, and I tried to convince him to stay home, and he wasn't about it. But he would terrorize us in scout team. Like we couldn't even get plays off. And this is like our starting offense going against scout team defense, and we at times couldn't get plays off because Jarvis was so disruptive. We would have to keep doing plays over and over and over and over again. And then, the next year, like when Jarvis wanted to get after the quarterback, you couldn't stop him.
Make the case, Murray, before we let you go. Make the case for Brock Bowers to win the Heisman.
Well, this is the big case. There isn't another Heisman contender in the SEC unless you want to go Jaden Daniels. And I think this is still I know it's been a rough year for the Southeastern Conference, but it's still respected. It's still produced an incredible amount of Heismans and national trophies over the past 2 decades. So people still look to this conference as a dominant conference, regardless of what's going on. And to be the best player in that conference on a winning football team, unlike, LSU's going through some struggles right now, I think that gives him an opportunity. And then you look at the West Coast. Like there's a lot of quarterbacks on the West Coast that are going to start playing each other, and those teams are going to start cannibalizing each other, and certain quarterbacks are going to get taken off the board because they lost a game to another Heisman contending quarterback, just like Shadur did. You lose to Bo Nix and Caleb, well, you're out. Well, Bo Nix, you lose to Caleb and you don't play as well as him, you're probably out of the equation. There's only so many votes to go around. If Brock can be that guy for the SEC, there's going to be a lot of people that are voting for him. People recognize his name. They know he's great.
Yeah. And
now he's the best player in the SEC because there's not really a dominant quarterback right now. He has a chance.
Here's what I need, Aaron. I need the folks at PFF who spend all this time apparently grading football players. I need them to start giving me a stat like knockdowns, okay, which was a stat I know for a fact we kept, okay, in an offensive line room. I know they keep it in the building. okay? Because I think we would be able to quantify his greatness even more when he doesn't have the ball in his hands. Every single week, I see Brock Bowers burying a dude like 14 yards downfield when he doesn't have the ball. So if we could also say that, hey, he leads the SEC or at every tight end in the country in receptions and yards, and he leads to Georgia in yards and touchdowns. And by the way, he leads the entire country in knockdowns at the tight end position, and he leads Georgia's football team in knockdowns in general. That would be a whole nother case because he does. I think he would. I think he probably leads the team in knockdowns. It's every week, 2 or 3.
I mean, Kelsey would do the same thing in Kansas City. You watch Kelsey, like he is a very willing blocker, and he used to put some people, and he still does put some people on their butt, and that's what makes him so special because he's willing to get dirty and not just all the glitz and glamour and spread me out and let me go one-on-one with safeties and linebackers. Like he's willing to get his get his nose in there a little bit.
Yeah, it's George Kittle for me. Both of those guys, Kelsey in space. Yeah. He's George Kittle for me when he's attached. Murray, what do people need to be supporting and loving on for you this week in the Players Lounge?
Man, we got a lot of great stuff coming out in the Players Lounge. I just shot our show with Ben, TK, and Noshawn. We have 3 player shows coming out this week that are going to be awesome. Malachi Starks just started his first show. He's going to be breaking down, kind of the game, looking ahead. Javon Bullard and Jackson Meeks obviously have their show together that come out every single week. And then Makai Muse and Jacob Hardy also have a show. So 3 player shows. All these guys, there's just them. And we give them a camera, a crew, and they just sit down and talk about ball, like authentically what they're experiencing on the football field, what they're going through off the field as well. So it's a really cool opportunity for fans to really get to know these guys. And also when you go support them and watch it, make sure you subscribe for questions and submit questions to like their Twitter and our Twitter, because the guys go and answer all the questions that are submitted. And like I said, it's not them being force-fed like a microphone in their face from a reporter. It's them just sitting down very casual, which is fun. And then we started our first female softball show today as well. So our softball girls started seeing what some of the football guys were doing. They wanted their own show. So we'll be coming out with that on Sunday as well. So a lot of great player content. It's a great way to support these student athletes at Georgia. They get paid for the shows. They take all the YouTube revenue that's created from these shows. It's great content, and you're supporting them in their NIL efforts as well. So check us out at theplayerslounge.io. It's our website, and then the Players Lounge on YouTube as well.
That's a rip and a half right there. I will say this, as someone who is in those rooms during media player availability, I don't think we've seen a single personality from any of these individuals. Okay, it's kind of coached out of them, trained out of them. Over there, from what I've seen from the Players Lounge, you get a little bit more of who these people are behind the helmet. And I think that's a major key. Hey, Aaron, appreciate you, buddy.
We'll and also, Busta on Augusta knows it too. Snaps is snapping, baby. Me and T-Bob every day. We're a little bit more national, but we have a good time trying to control that little madman.
Yeah. Snaps. Just all the plugs. You can follow him on Twitter at Aaron Murray as well. Murray,
I get a Sirius XM show from 3 to 6 every day.
Get out of here, dude. Thank you. You got enough work.
Too many jobs.
We all get it. We all get it. Murray does great for himself, okay? A few of those jobs he could probably throw my way if he was really a generous individual. If he were a real friend, and, I'm looking out for his well-being as well. Young family starting up there over there with the Murrays. Hey, got a little bit too much work on your hands. Last week we saw his butt in Provo, out there calling BYU and all kinds of games. Look, Murray, you got too much work. Players, you got too much work, dude. Throw some our way, dude. Throw some our way. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, feed us too a little bit,
Yeah, feed the fam.
Facts.
Yeah, we got kids to feed over here too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Murray joining the show every other week. That's pretty dope, man. I know he does lots of stuff everywhere else, in all seriousness. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff for our boy Murray joining the show. That's some good stuff right there. We got a couple more things to pound out before we get out of here. That was my 4th and 5th film note evaluation that I didn't get to earlier in the show. Number 4, Brock Bowers' blocking highlight is going to be absolutely insane. I'm going to put it together. I might just spend time doing it because it's every week. Every single week, he is not murdering someone. He is efforting to kill someone, okay? He is like through the echo of the whistle, putting dude on the back of his helmet, and then helping him up. Now, ain't nothing more disrespectful than getting put on the back of your lid and then having a nice, jolly-looking fella helping you up. Like, that ain't nothing worse than somebody who comes from wine country out here just manhandling your bitch ass on 3rd and 2. Ain't nothing worse. Ain't nothing worse than watching a Jim Thorpe Award winner put you on the back of your lid. All right? And it's every single week. That was observation number 4. Observation number 5, Dejon Edwards is the best back between the tackles and behind the line of scrimmage that Georgia's had in I don't know how long. Nick Chubb wasn't like this. Sony in his early days of his career was very, very shit. Swift was a little bit like this, but that is a different kind of brand of football for me. Dejon is the best. That's a -2. Oh, never mind. +5 running back that y'all might, I don't want to say ever because ever's used way too much, but he might be the best I've evaluated.
Yeah, there's just something about watching him run. I can't quite quantify what it is, but like it's the patience, it's the eye discipline in it, and he's just always picking up positive yards. He's always making a positive out of everything. I think that's why he's created like this spark in that room.
The thing that I keep coming back to when I watch him on tape is because there's 5 guys down on the line of scrimmage blocking, right? And we're trying to find the combination block or the base block that wins, meaning we're trying to take one of those interior defensive linemen and reset him. Dejon, rep in, rep out, finds the person winning their block and gets behind them and does so without losing any type of momentum or stamina or bumping into the wrong guy or anything. There's delivering blocks and then there's finding the block that's winning. He's great at that.
Very Le'Veon Bell-y to me.
Yes, at 5'9", so way harder to see. I think the thing that was great about Le'Veon, what was crazy about Le'Veon is he's doing this behind the line of scrimmage, but everybody could see the son of a bitch. Everybody. He's 6'2". He was so big. Dejon's down here, man. You can't see dude at all. He's legit as a running back there. So that was my 5th and final observation. This betting line UK betting line. All right, 14.5-point favorite on the road last week at Auburn. This week at home against Kentucky, a considerably better football team. 14.5 points. You had it in the notes, Kirby. What do you think about this football game? Just the line in general.
This to me is Vegas taking advantage of Georgia having a really rough week and Kentucky looking really good. So now you come in and go, wait, Georgia's favored 14.5. They look like shit against Auburn. I'm going to bet Kentucky. Whereas if you look at it, last 6 games, Georgia's beaten Kentucky by an average win margin of just under 21 points. They've won since Kirby Smart's there by an average of 15 points. That's including a 3-point victory in 2016. So it's not like Georgia ever struggles against Kentucky in that saying. Also, name a team that has out-physicaled a Kirby Smart team since he's been there, excluding the 2016 season.
I can't.
Out-physicaled.
Like it doesn't happen. You don't have these teams that just run down your throat. Even Auburn doing it, it wasn't running down your throat. It was busted play here, missed the. So I don't.
Is that on the edge?
Yeah, I don't think Kentucky's going to be able to consistently do that.
Lean on them.
And we hear the same thing every year with Kentucky, at least since Mark Stoops has gotten there. Like every single year, Georgia and Kentucky comes up together. It's like, oh, Kentucky's a real physical team. They can run the football. Like this is the recipe that they have that for a team that could beat Georgia. And then it may be a slobber knocker up until like the 4th quarter, but it's always like a 27-13 win for Georgia every single time.
I liked your piece of analysis. This line it smells like Vegas fading the common bettor. Because you're right. The common bettor is going to look at that and go, oh, that's way too many points.
Oh, Georgia hasn't
Take
covered
Kentucky.
the spread at all this year.
Way too many points.
Yeah,
that kind of deal. And you're right. The Sharp's probably going to know to sit on it here on this line. So I do like that analysis.
Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. Should we play the Hugh Freeze clip?
Do you want to do that, or do we have enough time? No, we don't have enough time for Give 'em 3, do we?
No, let's do Give 'em 3. I like Give 'em 3. Let's end the show with this. We got a lot of people watching tonight. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, and let's take some cracks at Auburn. All right, here we go. The premise of Give 'em 3 today. We had our first road trip this week. The boys got to go. Okay, we got to experience Auburn. These guys' first time to actually not just driving by Auburn. I think every Georgia resident has driven by the Auburn exit on your way to PCB. We all know that, okay? Everyone has done that little trip. Now, the actual trip off the exit over there to Auburn University, first time you guys have had it. So I will go ahead and give you my 3. Number 1, first off, foremost, we actually watched the Cincy, or not the Cincy, it looked like Cincy. We watched the NC State game, okay, over there at a bar called Southeastern down in downtown Auburn. And I'm going to tell you right now, we were in that bar for probably 90 minutes to 2 hours. I was the tallest sumbitch in the bar. I was. I don't know what's going on in Auburn. Don't know, except for Jay Will. Don't know what's going on in Auburn. Don't know what's in the water. But every joker in that bar, 5'9", even with the Ariat boots on their feet. Couldn't believe it. Very, very short campus. Now, maybe we were just in the wrong parts, but statistically proven, whole bunch of dudes in that bar, and we were taller than most. Okay, so very, very short town. First observation. Second observation, and probably explains the first observation, that sumbitch smell like money. Ain't a broke student at Auburn. Now, there's this common joke about Auburn grads are just Georgia residents who couldn't get into UGA. And let's just assume that to be true. If it were to be true, that would mean that most, not all, a lot of the people that are at Auburn University have the ability and can afford to do so out of state. Oh, yeah. And I don't know if you've looked at out-of-state tuition at any university, but particularly Auburn. Dude, it's like 50 racks a year to go to Auburn out of state. And apparently, there's so many of them that y'all got running joke logs about this. Okay, so smell, just brick, mortar, and money out there at Auburn. And third and final observation, and this one has been true for decades and will remain true for the rest of time. You can't go to Auburn if you don't drive a truck and it's got a brush guard on it. That's it, period, point blank. Ford F-150 with some lifted kit on it with some off-road tires with a brush guard, okay? And it gotta be two-tone. Gotta be blue on the top, gold on the bottom, and a yeet yeet when you get out the truck. Give them 3. What do y'all got?
You want it, Jay Will?
You go first.
All right. The first one I have is it's almost too beautiful to be a campus.
Oh, yeah.
It's very new. I was like the brick and mortar job there is elite. All the new buildings you can tell, very well done, very pretty. We were walking around. For those who live in Georgia, it feels like Avalon with just college kids. It was like 11:30 on Friday night, and people were out with their families and stuff. Like,
yeah, it was crazy.
You don't see that.
It very much so felt like a vacation town that had a college in it.
Little kids walking around by themselves.
Yeah.
Very, very weird. I was like,
and no homeless people.
There was
Except for our
David.
boy David.
Our boy Dave.
Our
boy David was definitely homeless, and he was living it. But that's it.
David was loving that live band, bro. But no, then the next thing I noticed is it's 2023, and you have cash-only covers at every bar.
Yeah, that was wild. If you go to Auburn, ladies and gentlemen, bring you cash. All right, cash cover everywhere.
Going downtown is just a quest to find cash so you can pay a cover to get into a bar. Literally, because
one of the ATMs ran out of cash.
Dude, Saturday night when I stayed there, every ATM in like a quarter-mile radius ran out of cash. It was literally just like the lines were longer at the ATMs than they were the bars. It was insane. And then the third one is this fan base was probably hell back like
when they were good
10 years ago when they were good. Because Friday night we were walking around, some people would even barking at us like, hey, hey, go easy on us tomorrow.
Yeah.
Saturday night after they had lost that game, it was like, oh, fuck you, fuck the Georgia. Y'all have a terrible schedule. Y'all are easy as shit. Like, it was insane.
So they turned kill.
Oh, it was
Just
kill mode.
completely.
It was insane. So
That's
like
wild.
I'm thinking like 10 years ago when after the prayer at Jordan Hare, can you imagine what was going on there?
Yeah, I was there. I was just not there.
Yeah,
It
well,
was one of those things.
Yeah.
so yeah, my takeaway from Auburn is super nice campus. College life, I don't know, but the fan base was probably hell when they're good.
Absolutely.
So-
Christian Kirby, give him 3. What do you got, J. Will?
Anybody can get onto that field if you want to. If you don't even have to have credentials to get onto that football
No, you
field.
don't. Security, hella lax.
Press the elevator button. Homegirl's gonna let you in. Just say, "I need to go to the field." She'll take you on down there, and you can have a nice little viewing party
Bro,
and everything.
Also, not to be a dry snitcher, but if there's ever a recruiting violation between media and recruits, by God, it's at Auburn. It is at Auburn. You can't. They distinctly make you go by every single kid that is on a visit there. Your elevator drops you down into the middle of the recruiting facility. This would be like us. I can't even explain it. It would be like Kirby Smart allowing media to just get dropped in right in the middle of their recruiting pitch. It was absurd, and it's like designed that way. I don't know who did it. I don't know who allowed it. Auburn, recruiting violations left and right with regards to media and recruits talking because they're not allowed to during game day visits.
Better yet, when we were going back up to the press box after warm-ups, we were just walking through the stands, like just opening doors, finding our way back to just going wherever and whenever
Not
we
a
wanted
security
to.
guard one asking, hey,
Nope,
what you
just
doing?
Like, oh, here, let me open the door for you. Just come on in. So
Just absolute.
if you want to get onto that football field, you absolutely can.
it's yours. It's
wall-
yours for the taking, bro.
The wall to get, like, you know how Sanford, it's like a 6-foot wall, and then you got to go past the hedges.
Yeah.
It's literally just a knee wall.
It's a step
Oh, I know.
You just walk by it. And
Dude,
you run.
pregame, there was, pregame and during the game, there are recruits basically standing on the field.
Yes.
It's insane.
All right, second takeaway. I was really shocked by how dead the tailgating scene was,
Yeah.
but then how the fans showed up. Because, like, especially around Athens, like,
Yeah.
they don't care if it's a noon kickoff or it's a 7:30 kickoff. People are going to be out there at 7 o'clock in the morning getting nice and rowdy, pre-gaming for the game and everything. Auburn, it was quiet, but then when the game rolled around, everybody seemed to show
What
up.
I think that was, or what I think that is Auburn has all those white tent,
Yeah.
pre-staged tailgates. Very uppity scene.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very uppity scene.
And then my last one.
Dude, we walked by a tailgate that was watching the Ryder Cup instead of college game day. I about fucking threw up. Go ahead.
And then my last one. If you need alcohol in a jumbo styrofoam gas station size cup,
Hell yeah.
Southeastern Bar in Auburn, that's the place to be. They'll do it for you. They'll get you right.
I got a 32-ounce Diet Coke with a lime wedge for free.
Yeah, and a reasonable price. It's not.
Yeah, that
it's
too.
not
Didn't you
out
pay
of-
like $5 for a rum and Coke?
$6 for like this big rum and Coke.
Like a big gulp,
Yes.
basically from
Pretty wild.
the 7-Eleven.
Exactly.
Pretty wild. Hey, we got a great show coming up for you over on MBR. Stick around with us, all right? Make sure you hit that thumbs up button on your way out. I love